Good morning, Joan. How are you?
I know what you mean. I was looking, okay, last cold spell. No, really not.
Never. Thank you, Sandy. Beautiful, as usual. My name is Cindy Nelson, and I, on behalf of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Door County, welcome you this morning. Good morning, all of you. Whether you are here in person or watching from afar, you are always welcome. This fellowship is a place where we come to learn more about being human. We come here to learn more about being in relationship together, how to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion in one another. So, broken hearts, welcome. Anxious spirits, welcome. Atheist, Christian, Jew, Muslim, welcome. Latecomers, welcome. Hi, Beth and Kurt. Straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, welcome. Searchers, seekers, welcome. In other words, each and every one of you as a beautiful person is welcome here. Thank you for joining us today. We do have a custom here to invite our visitors to stand and introduce themselves, if comfortable doing so. A simple introduction of who you are and where you are from would be welcomed. I don't know if all of you want to stand, and some of you would like to. Please do.
My name is Lena. We're all here for Toby, and please go welcoming us. We're all kind of a part of the Northern Girl family. Toby and Jack spent a lot of time with us, so we're all from Sister Beach.
Thank you, and welcome. Anyone else?
I'm Cole Studebaker. I'm here with my grandparents.
Oh, lovely.
I'm here for the weekend.
Oh, and what great grandparents you have. Good choice.
I'm Trudy Jiski, and I'm also here with the group for Toby, and she's my good friend.
Thank you for coming.
I'm Connor Gossman. I'm actually from Minnesota. My family has a place in Door County here, and I spent a lot of time at the Northern Grill too, hanging out with Toby and Jack and making a lot of memories.
Thank you.
And I'm Greg Graves. I'm Toby's son, and in a way Jack's son too. They were both wonderful people, and I'm here to celebrate my mother.
Thank you. Following the service, oops. Oh, goodness. Hiding in the corner.
My partner Kristen, we're from Appleton, we're visiting for the weekend. So.
Welcome.
I'm Claire. Tom's been coming for a while, so we thought we'd come on and see Joe. We live in the Egg Harbor Street in Bay.
Welcome.
I'm Jim Hansen with my wife Barbara, and we're visiting from Hope in Sturgeon Bay.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Welcome. Now, did I miss anybody again? Following the service, everyone is invited to move to the gathering room for coffee and conversation, and then after about 15 minutes, we will join back here for further discussion. If anyone is interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism or our particular fellowship, please see any board member. We wear the yellow, but in reality, anybody who wears a tag loves to talk, so therefore you could ask anybody about us. A gentle reminder to please turn off your cell phones. We're going to change the program just a little bit today, as many of Toby's friends and family need to leave because they're worker bees, so they need to get to work. So at this time, I'm going to ask Lisa McDonald, a longtime friend, to give us a few words about Toby.
All right. Yeah, we've all here spent quite a bit of time with Jack and Toby, and sure. Oh, I didn't know. The pressure. And Toby and Jack, of course, had a family before they moved up here. And when they moved up here, their family became part of, our family became a part of their extended family. And they spent a lot of time with us. And, you know, as we got to know them more and more, they started speaking more about this church also as a part of their family. And I just want you all to know that you in their lives meant so much. And the fact that Toby was so happy that Jack was able to find a place that he felt comfortable in worshiping and reaching out to the people that were here. And that meant just the world to them, especially to Toby, for Jack, for that. So, you know in your hearts this is a building that they really relied on, very much so. So, and you all know they were great people. The one thing that my daughter was telling me, that she's like, don't forget to remind them about her laugh, because Toby had a great laugh, and it was addictive, and you wanted to be by her because of that laugh. And if we can just all remember that that's a thing that we should all do, and even in times of sorrow, is laugh. That she would be loving that. And we just know that Jack and Toby are now off somewhere, dancing together and loving each other. And that's what she wants, and so they were two stars that are finally together, so. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. And Greg, her son, shared a poem that Jack had written in 2001 that Toby had framed and looked at many times a day. The robin in the grass looks wistfully at its former home on the porch. I lean back in my chair, taking a sip of Cabernet, while glancing at the robin, who stares back at me with bird apprehension. I nod off, and the bird makes a quick flight to the old nest. The rustling in the ficus tree awakens me. The robin flies away, never to return, thinking, it's smaller than I remember. Let us all remember Toby and Jack and their presence in our community. And thank you for joining us today. And yes, I know some of you need to leave, but the rest of you, please know that you are welcome to stay with us and join us for coffee and conversation after the service. So now we have announcements. They are printed on the back of the order of service, but sometimes we have extras. Bruce does have the mic for you. He's coming.
Good morning, Jane Wise. And it is third Sunday, but that's on the back of the announcement. So you've all been doing great, and we're almost at the end of the fiscal year, so we have a month and a half to go. We have not put our money in, so if you're one of people like us, think about how much you would like to donate, if at all. It's anything is welcome. Second announcement is about the food barrel. So it's always empty with cereal. We always need cereal, tuna, or chicken in a can. Pasta sauce was a little sketchy this week. That was Tuesday when I was there. Peanut butter was doing a little bit okay, but there's always need for peanut butter. And the snacks have not been doing well. So I was thinking about, and especially with school being out soon, parents are going to be looking for things like that. So I was thinking about graham crackers, muffin mixes. Maybe with that you need to bring a little bottle of cooking oil because you'll need some of that. Healthy-ish cookies. I don't know. I like Fig Newtons. They're not too bad. They don't have too many, junky things in it. Goldfish crackers. Maybe the little triangle Triscuits. Things like that. So anything you think that children and parents would like to have for a snack. And also celebrations are coming up. So Father's Day and birthdays and graduations. So cake mixes, again, with a little bit of bottle of oil. Frosting, anything like that would be fun too. So anything you bring is welcome, but those kind of things you might want to do for fun the next month or so. Thank you.
This is Megan Woodward Johnson. Oh. This is the artist, Megan, who is in the gallery right now. She was not able to come for the opening, so she's coming for a reception today. She's a mixed media artist, and she, for the past 20 years, she has honed her skills with constant creation and exploration of a variety of medium to refine her voice and build her full-time art practice. Do you want to say a few things about your work?
Sure. Well, I'll just say thank you for having me in the gallery and here today. I'd be happy to answer any questions about the work when we're at coffee hour afterwards, but also my very first solo show was, I think, about 17 years ago at the Unitarian Universalist Church in downtown Milwaukee, where we were members for a long time. So it's really lovely to be in the gallery and with you today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
So Megan will be here, of course, to answer any questions you have, and after the talk back, we'll be in the gallery, so if there's anything that you need to or want to talk about or questions you have, she will be there. Where's our, oh, thank you.
Trish Black here on behalf of the Caring Committee. It is on the back of your order of service, but I just wanted to give a little plug to remind people, so if you wanted to sign up, that would be helpful. 2 weeks ago, Thursday, so whatever the math would be on that, the Caring Committee launched their first Coffee Conversation and Connection initiative. We think it was pretty successful. The only goal is about coming together and reconnecting or connecting for the first time. So in order to make sure that we have plenty of snacks and treats and coffee and tea, there's a sign up on the bulletin board. So if you do that before you leave today, please join us. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Mark Richards. Many of you know that I kind of run the Wisconsin UU State Action Network. We are having our annual meeting on June 8th. It's going to be held in person in Fond du Lac. Everybody is invited. If you're interested at all in what we do, we're going to be talking about going forward. We're going to be talking about my eventual retirement and plans for that. So that's if you want to come, just get in touch with me. We'll figure out some transportation.
Well, if other people get to talk about what's on the back of the announcement page, I'm going to talk about us. We are going to have the second installation of native plants in the front, June 2nd and June 9th. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of the results. We've got some bulbs blooming, we've got other little flowers coming up, columbines, lupines, whatever. So we've had some progress from last year. This is going to be a big push, probably close to 200 plants and shrubs to finish off the front, the strip going north. Please join us.
Thank you, everybody. And I do have one other Caring Committee announcement. We are having an AI presentation on June 6th from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. That's a Friday afternoon. The same young man who did the presentation on internet safety this winter, whom everyone thought was fantastic and very engaging, is coming back. So we had 27, 28 people last time. I want to make sure that we have enough chairs set up so that we can listen to them carefully, because we do it in here. So please sign up if you are thinking you are able to come. If you forget to sign up, you are, of course, still welcome. But this time it's on artificial intelligence, and so I think it will be very interesting. June 6th, 1 to 3. Okay, I think that we are ready to start our chalice lighting. I've asked Jan Freistack to light our chalice as I read words from the Reverend Lisa Doge. What if sometimes it's not about a light in the darkness? What if sometimes it's about sparking potential into possibility and possibility into existence? What if sometimes the flame that burns in the chalice of our faith is nothing less than the ember of hope and nothing more than love set ablaze? What if sometimes all we need do is follow this flame, one among scores, hundreds, thousands of steadily flickering flames across the land and among so many peoples on the way to justice and into the land of peace? What if we dare to kindle that chalice? Please stand as you are able to sing hymn number 352, Find a Stillness, and then stay standing for the unison affirmation and doxology. We gather together to seek knowledge and wisdom, to explore freely the vast reaches of mind and spirit, to celebrate within a caring community those truths, ancient and modern, which give meaning and direction to our lives. Stars, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung. In every land, by every Joys and Concerns is a beautiful UU ritual, if I may call it that, of holding one another in community. A recognition that to be in community means being a part of each other's stories. In joy or in sorrow, we do not walk alone. Again, Bruce has the mic for you. Please introduce yourself and be sure you have permission if you are sharing a story about someone else.
Lynn Lees, I have a great joy and sadness about Toby. She and I had at least two things in common. One being we both married very, very special, unique, and wonderful men. Never a duplicate of those two guys. Secondly, when many of us in this group were much younger, we had a fellowship ritual where the ladies would go out for a birthday lunch every month to a restaurant, just the girls. And we always had some topic, whether it was tell us about your greatest adventure or whatever. Well, one of our lunches at the Log Den was, tell us about your worst blind date. And Toby and I tied for first place.
And you're not going to tell us that story?
Never. I would not give away her confidence.
I'm Meg Ziegelman, and this is under concerns that I hope will help you, the rest of you. Some of you know that during the month of March, I spent my time. Good idea. So I spent the month of March in Mexico getting extensive and very expensive dental work done there. But something started to happen to me. I started getting really loopy. And what it ended up looking like was I was getting lost all the time, every single day for 5 weeks. As soon as I stepped out the door to go anywhere, I was completely disorientated. I couldn't get a grid map in my mind. It was the most frightening, scary thing I think I've been through. I went to the pharmacy, asked for anti-anxiety pills, thinking I've never had it, but they were way, way too expensive. And it turned out that what it was is that I was severely dehydrated. And so the advice to all of you is, I didn't think I was, but apparently I was, is that when the doctors and the nurses ask us, how much are you drinking? It should be taken seriously. And especially at our age, the doctor said we're supposed to be drinking a lot more than when we were younger. So hopefully it'll prevent you from going through this.
Thank you, Meg.
Thank you, Meg. Hopefully, Peggy Lott. Hopefully that'll help a lot of us with our forgetting things. But anyway, I'd just like to say I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I've really missed being here and being here in spring. I had grandchildren to visit, and I've had my fill of soccer games now. I'm back for this weekend because it's the Peninsula Singers Weekend, and we had a wonderful concert yesterday in Sister Bay at the Baptist Church. This afternoon at 3 o'clock, we're repeating that, so if anyone can find their way down to Good Hope, Prince of Peace in Sturgeon Bay, just off the expressway, we'd be happy to have you. It's free, and I must say we sound pretty good.
I don't know if I should stand. I'm right in front of the speaker. Maybe? Okay, I'll try it. Good morning, everybody. I'm Maria Thompson. I just wanted to share that I'm so excited. I'm going to share with my cousin here. Dreams do come true. And in 1 year, my husband and I will be living in Door County.
Yay!
And I'm happy to say that we found a place and we'll be living in Sister Bay. So I've been running my voice and piano and guitar studio here for, has it been 2 years now? And I've been building my clientele, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. And I can finally join in with committees. Yay!
Good news for all of us.
So, loveliest of trees, the cherry now is hung with bloom along the bough. If you've had the good luck, as I have, to drive up from Sturgeon Bay, the cherries are blooming. It's wonderful to be here. 5 years ago this week, we were at Mayo Clinic. My husband was given a terminal diagnosis of pancreatic cancer, as you have heard, and passed away in 2020. 4 months after he died, I was then diagnosed with breast cancer. And this past week, I have been at Mayo Clinic, and we're all clear and very excited. I'm now on the once-a-year plan. I don't have to go back twice yearly, so very happy. And a silver lining as well, I mentioned a few weeks ago that my daughter had lost her job in the cuts to the Library and Museum Services Agency. A federal judge has put in a restraining order, and she's still getting paid, so this is a bright spot because she lives in Washington, D.C., an expensive place. So unfortunately, she wants more than anything to be able to do her job, and with any luck, she'll be able to get back to funding our library, our museums. So hopeful times. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Barb.
Jan Freistack here, and my husband Phil and I are very, very proud grandparents today. Yesterday, our oldest granddaughter graduated from the University of Iowa with honors. And this is no ordinary graduation. This girl has had more than her share of health problems in the form of autoimmune diseases. And she has fought like crazy to stay in school and to make this happen. And we just could not be more proud of our Kellyanne.
Thank you, Jan. And I have two joys to add. The first is 71 years ago yesterday, desegregation became the law of the land. I think it is a joy that we need to remember. My second joy sits right there. You. 11 years ago, almost to the day, I served as service leader for the first time. The speaker, the Reverend Joan Shields. She calmed me down. She said, "It'll be fine. This is an easy group." I took her words for it, and here I still am. At that time, I introduced Joan as a friend of all religions. Since then, I have learned from her many messages here and through a wonderful world religions class that I took from her, she not only is a friend of all religions, but she is a student and a teacher of them all. She has a wonderful way of tying all that knowledge in her brain into stories for us. So Joan, it is an absolute delight to be back with you again. And as an aside, Jerry Friedberg was the organist, or pianist, was the pianist. Jerry, you were the pianist that Sunday. I dug way back and found it. So, so thank you, Joan and Jerry. They helped make my very first time up here worthy of coming back, I guess. It is time for our offering. Today is the third Sunday of May, so our collections go to support our community partners, Northern Door Children's Center, Housing Partnership, and Climate Change Coalition. Please give as generously as you are able to help support the wonderful work of these three organizations. Please take a moment to center yourselves so that you are prepared for Joan's message.
The reading this morning is from the Tao Te Ching. For a moment, be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. The Christian creation myth, that one in Genesis, tells us that God created the world in 6 days. And on the seventh day, what did he do? Very good. This has always made sense to us. It was probably hard work creating the earth and the universe in just 6 days. And of course, we would assume that God needed a day off. But a careful reading of Genesis reveals that the Sabbath is not a day off. Literally, the Bible's rendition says, on the seventh day, God finished God's work. This means something quite different. The ancient rabbis taught that on the seventh day, God created Manuka, which is tranquility, peace, and rest. Repose in the deepest possible sense. It's a fertile, healing stillness. And the wisdom in this cosmic narrative is this, that until rest is completed, creation was not finished. Only on the Sabbath, we must stop and look back and see that it is good. Now, in the Judeo-Christian tradition, this is a commandment. It's right up there with not lying and not murdering and not committing adultery. In the Buddhist tradition, it is a prescription, a path marker to a place where we can surrender into the Buddha nature that lives within us. Now, there is a large and lively debate flourishing throughout our nation today, lamenting the tragic decline of morality and values. Would you agree? These lost values are qualities like honesty and courage and kindness and civility and wisdom and compassion. Now, these are commodities that cannot be bought or sold or invested. They cannot be manufactured or advertised or marketed. These cherished core human values, the deepest and best parts of what we are as humans, can only grow and flourish from the nourishment of our souls. It takes rest and time and care to encourage them to grow and to flourish. Now, the people who study these things tell us that all life holds a rhythm that includes rest. The active growth of summer and spring is enabled by the necessary dormancy of fall and winter. There is a tidal rhythm, a deep, eternal conversation between the land and the sea. There's a rhythm in our human waking activity and the body's need for sleep. You know, we cannot live without sleep. In our bodies, the heart perceptibly rests after each beat, and the lungs rest between each exhale and inhale. We are strong and capable people who often work. Well, when we were younger, we worked without stopping, but young people still do, and I think too often we still work too long and too continuously. But we have to remember that no living thing can live like this. There are greater rhythms that control and govern how our life grows, circadian rhythms and seasons and hormonal cycles and sunsets and moonrises and the great movements of the seas and the stars. We are part of that creation, and we are subject to all of its laws and all of its rhythms. Our culture does not encourage us to rest. Our culture invariably supposes that action and accomplishment are more important, more meaningful, more productive than rest, and that doing something is always better than doing nothing. Because of the desire to succeed and to meet our ever-growing and often self-imposed expectations, we often do not rest sufficiently. I want to tell you the germ of this message came to me maybe 20 years ago when I was at a workshop and the speaker had gone around the room and asked everyone to tell us something they were passionate about. And you can imagine what we heard, gardening, my grandchildren, my work. And one woman stood up and bountifully and joyously said, "I'm passionate about rest. I love to rest." And that just struck me as a wonderful thing to be passionate about. And I've tried to incorporate it in my life ever since. Because when we do not rest, we lose our way. And for want of rest, we put our lives in danger. Now, how have we allowed this to happen? Well, there are several answers, but I suggest that one important one is that we have forgotten the Sabbath. Now, before you dismiss this statement as a merely religious one, let me explore more fully and explain the nature and definition of Sabbath as I understand it. While Sabbath can refer to a day of the week, it can also stand for a Sabbath that merely is a time that has a greater underlying purpose. It's a potent tool for cultivating the precious human qualities that grow only with this rest and time that we give ourselves. Sabbath time, which means a period of nourishing rest, comes when we set a time to listen, to hear the inner wisdom that makes our life and our effort meaningful. For me, remember the Sabbath means to remember to take delight in your life. In the fruits of your labor, remember to stop and feel gratitude for the wonder of it. Now, keeping the Sabbath is an important spiritual precept in most of the world's religions. It sits there right next to the ethical precepts I mentioned earlier, like not killing and not lying and not stealing. But how can ignoring the Sabbath possibly be morally and socially dangerous? How can forgetting to be restful and sing songs and take delight in your life and in your creation to be as reprehensible as murder and robbery and deceit? Why have the world's wisdom traditions, as I prefer to call them, made keeping the Sabbath so important? I believe it's because Sabbath honors the necessary wisdom in dormancy. If certain plant species don't experience enough cold and enough rest in the winter, they will not bear fruit in the spring. If this continues for more than a season, the plant will die. If dormancy continues to be prevented, the entire species will die. For us humans, a period of rest is not simply a human psychological convenience, it is a biological and I believe a spiritual necessity. Many scientists believe that we are hardwired to live in a rhythmic awareness, to go and then stop, to be engrossed and then detach, to work and then to rest. I know when I was working for Dorr Shakespeare in the year that I was at every single rehearsal, I learned from the directors that they would push those actors. They would push them to learn their where they're supposed to stand and to remember their lines and how to relate to each other. And they would work them hard. And the actors wouldn't get there. But then the director would say, okay, that's enough for today, let's stop. Just let that work on your body. And sure enough, 2 days later, when we came back to that scene, it had grown inside those actors without the pushing or the practicing. The body has a wisdom of its own. Now, it follows that if we consider the commandment to remember the Sabbath not as a burdening requirement, but rather a loving direction that will sustain us because it is in the fabric of our nature. It is a reminder of how things really are and the rhythmic cycle of which we are unavoidably a part. Sabbath is a time for sacred rest. It may be a holy day, as it is in the Jewish and Christian traditions. It may also be a Sabbath afternoon that you have dedicated to your own rest and nourishment, a Sabbath hour, a Sabbath walk. Indeed, anything that preserves a deep experience of the life-giving parts of our life. being an activist, working, caring, creating change is all an important part of our life, and we all do that. But how often do we say, not today, not this hour, not this afternoon? My husband was a terrific worrier, and when I would try to get him to stop, he just couldn't stop worrying. And I learned what I had to do was I said, tell me what you're worrying about right now. I wrote it down. What else are you worrying about? Okay, we're writing that down. Okay, how about the killer bees? Are you worried about the killer bees today? Okay, we'll write that down. All right, it's all written down, and I'm going to put it in this cabinet right here at the kitchen. And when you want to worry about those things, we'll go get the list, and you can worry about all of them again. But for this afternoon, we rejoice in the good things in our lives. We feel them. We let them permeate our being. It's not just stopping work. It's not a day off when you binge watch something on TV or do your errands. It's the active cultivation of something that arises when we consecrate. When we consecrate, I love that word. I love to take these words that have been assigned to religious meanings and say, no, we have to consecrate things. We make things sacred with our own sense of what is important. And in this consecrated time, we pay attention to what is most deeply beautiful and nourishing and true. I made sure as I drove up the county today that I just breathed in these beautiful trees that are blossoming and the beautiful green colors that surround us after the grayness and the darkness of the winter. I just focused on that. It's a time consecrated with our attention, our mindfulness, our honoring of the quiet forces that sustain us and heal us. You know, they say that when we go to sleep at night, our brains renew themselves. Our bodies renew themselves. I think in these moments of concentration and contemplation of the beautiful things we see and feel and know, we are sustaining and healing ourselves, our whole selves. So my message this morning is a plea for Sabbath keeping in part of ourselves, in part that so when we go forth to do our work in the world, that whatever we build or create or serve, we will approach it with the rest that we have passionately enjoyed. On the Christian Sabbath, we are ordered to rest and remember that larger forces are present. The Jewish practice of Shabbat is designed specifically to restore us as human creatures, beginning at twilight on Friday and ending at sundown on Saturday. No, begins at twilight on Friday and ends at sundown on Saturday. This is a gift of time in which the Jew is allowed to let the cares and concerns of the marketplace fall away. You can't drive, you can't cook, you can't work. Some Orthodox Jewish homes won't even let you turn on the light switch. No working, only resting. And while work is prohibited during Shabbat, other specific activities are mandated. Among the more popular activities is making love. Indeed, the Talmud instructions on marriage say that the righteous couple should make love every Friday night. An older Jewish man once told me that it is traditional among some groups to make love 4 times during the Sabbath. I asked him respectfully if he and his wife kept this particular precept. The man responded, "No, we make love only once, but we hold a deep intention for the other 3. Sabbath time requires surrender. It requires stopping no matter what needs to be done, because if we only stop when we are finished with our work, we will never stop, because our work is never done. The kitchen is clean only until the next dirty spoon hits the sink. If we refuse rest until we are finished, we will never rest until we die, or some serious illness or medical condition forces us to stop. The wise old rule to remember the Sabbath says, stop now. Put down the phone, turn off the computer, leave the broom in the closet and the car in the garage. Stop, because there are forces larger than us that take care of the universe and us. And while our efforts are necessary and important and useful, they are not indispensable. The galaxy will manage without us for this hour or this day. And so we are invited, yea, we are commanded to enjoy our relative unimportance, our humble place in a larger world. Sabbath is a time to stop, to refrain from being seduced by our desires, to stop working, stop making money, stop spending money, to instead savor what you already have. You can make a Sabbath of your own. Choose one pleasurable activity and do it. Pull out an old photograph that you love and put it somewhere where you're going to walk by it several times during the day. And don't forget to look at it and enjoy the feelings that that photograph gives you. Write a short poem. That's what Jack did. Jack was always writing a short poem, and we got the best one every Sunday. Sing a song you know. It's amazing how satisfying it is to remember the lyrics to a song you haven't sung in a long time. Remember the joy you felt when you got your first car? Go back there and feel that joy when you drive your car. Go to the workbench and admire your tools. Go to the dishes and your bed linens and rejoice in how beautiful and how useful they are, how often they serve you and your family. Feel how lucky you are to have those things. Now, one of the most universally popular activities involves going out into nature. Strolling, lying under a tree, feeling the heartbeat of the earth, allowing the wind to blow your hair, watching birds move across the sky. For many people, music is the language that connects them to the universal. Put your favorite music on. Drift. Do nothing. Or conduct the orchestra. I have a friend who does this. Sing, dance, let your spirit soar to your favorite music with not a care of what comes next. Let there be nothing but you and the music. Now, how does the Sabbath biologically nourish? What is the physics of it? I have a true story for you. In 1996, a fire ravaged Lava Mountain in New Mexico, home to many families in the hills who lived there. And the fire was quick, and it was furious, and it destroyed dozens of homes and a spiritual retreat center that had been there for decades. I myself am a great lover of Yellowstone Park, and in 1988, fires ravaged a large portion of Yellowstone Park, particularly around the Old Faithful Inn, which is my sacred space. And I felt as if a family member had been burned. I was so aware of the tragedy of it. But I went there the following year, just like after the Lama fire, and walked the land. And everywhere you looked, we saw the charcoal, silver, gray, black, charcoal color reflecting the light of the sun. And it filtered down into the twisted branches where before there had been an inferno. But now, on this day, there was spread out as far as you could see a sea of green. Small seedlings 6 to 10 inches high, were growing and blanketed the forest floor and the ground in New Mexico without any human effort to clear or seed. Already the earth was pushing out life, renewed by the destruction that it had to experience to give new life. Because creation creates at every revolution of the earth. It's incapable of doing otherwise. Were we to reduce this planet to cinders, a holocaust of ignorance and greed, still the universe would create life from the ashes of our stupidity. Sabbath gives us the courage to wait for what life will bring. Our work is not always to push and to struggle and to survive under what sometimes seem like terrific odds. Sometimes we only have to be still to learn what we need to know. And though these thoughts might not seem immediately relevant to everyone in this room, we are, for the most part, elders, retired from the exhausting whirlwind of the work world we remember so well. But many of us still fill our lives with endless tasks and worries and meetings and responsibilities. Busy, that's the response we used to always give. How are you? Busy. Oh, been busy, very busy. Few of us give ourselves enough real leisure, enough time to talk through a whole afternoon with a friend about nothing of consequence, to amble through the woods on a summer morning, to sit and watch the sunset with nothing but the dog as a companion. Few of us honor ourselves with a deep, nourishing rest, a private Sabbath. I think that not only do we need to reclaim this sustaining practice for ourselves, we need to do it for our families. We are the tribal elders. Our children, no matter how old they are still watching us. We watch them grow up, and now they're watching us grow old, but they're still learning from us how to grow old. We are the ones that our grandchildren watch for guidance and how to live. We're the ones who must invite them to sometimes stop and rest and listen and relinquish their necessitary hard play or homework or practice, whatever they feel they must do this minute. We can say to them, let's just stop for a while and enjoy this moment. In this time, we give our attention to those we love. We rest with them, we eat with them, we play with them gently, and we walk with them and listen to their stories and their worries and their laughter, and we remember to whom we belong. We remember what really nourishes our souls. And when we invite this Sabbath time into our families, we take time to bless our children and our grandchildren, placing our hands upon their heads and our fingers in their hair and wishing for them strength and courage and happiness. All the video games and computers and elaborate gifts and engaging travel destinations in the world that we feel we need to give them cannot place a single hand on a single head and grant this Sabbath blessing. So what I wish for you today, as we rejoice in the coming of spring, I know it's cold today, but it's coming. We can see it. And the anticipation of our wonderful Door County summer is that you create and keep a Sabbath that works for you. Today and in the many weeks to come, I wish for you that you create a sweet time for stopping and focusing on giving thanks, for recalling the gifts and the fruits of your life, and remembering the precious things and people that surround you. Peace be with you.
Thank you, Joan. Always amazing. Please stand as you are able for our closing hymn, number 83, Winds Be Still. And then please remain standing as our closing words will be said together. Please repeat after me. I am the flame.
I am the flame.
We are the flame.
We are the flame.
I am the light.
I am the light.
We are the light.
We are the light.
I will go forward carrying this light.
I will go forward carrying this light.
We will go forward carrying our light.
We will go forward carrying our light.
Please be seated for the postlude. Thank you for joining us today. Remember to enjoy some coffee and conversation, and then return over here in about 15 minutes, about 20 after 11, and we will continue our conversation with Joan.